Welcome back to Access Anime. I'm Henshin Ikeda, and today I'll be doing a walkthrough and review of Sword Art Online Episode 18. And if you remember from last episode, we get to see Asuna. She's in ALO, and she's being held captive by the Fairy King Oberon, which, offline, is Sigyu, the guy that's going to be marrying Asuna on January 26th. Hopefully not. And we also find out Lefei is Kirito's cousin offline. Yeah, I'm not going to keep saying her name. It gets kind of... I'm just going to keep it to their online names. But anyways, Lefei is Kirito's cousin, so this is kind of interesting, and neither one of them knows each other's online playing. But that was the last episode, and this is a new episode, so let's dive right in. And again, I'll keep my comment and my rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. Let's just dive right in. Let's get started, because I've got a lot more walkthroughs and reviews to do after this, so it's going to be a little messy. But anyways, we open up the episode at... Lefei's house and Kirito's house, and you see Lefei. She's, I guess, going over everything that's happened while Kirito's in the hospital. She's trying to soak all this new knowledge in. So that's kind of interesting. And the next following scene, we actually see Lefei. I know her real name is Seguya, but I like calling her Lefei regardless, because her online name is so much easier to pronounce. Anyways, you see Lefei. She's looks like she's at her school, and she has her kendo gear with her, and she's going somewhere, and she runs into a new character. His name is Nagata. Now, if you don't know who Nagata is, he's Raccoon, or Recon. I believe you can call him Recon. He was that new character we were introduced online. Yeah, the guy that got PK'd, his name is Nagata. See, I can't even pronounce his name right. But anyways, he looks like a lackey. He looks, you know, kind of like a stalker, not someone I'd want to be friends with right away. And he's trying to ask Lefei, are you going to be free later on to go hunting with us with her party? And obviously she's not. She's going to be with Kirito, and she says no. In fact, I'm not going to be free at all since I'm going to be busy helping so-and-so. She doesn't even tell Nagata who she's going to be training and who she's going to be with. So she kind of leaves him in the dark and then pushes him away by hitting him in the stomach with her kendo sword. So it's kind of funny. And again, it's not a real sword. It's a wooden bokken, more or less. And that was the end of that scene. But she also ends up telling Raccoon. I have to pronounce their names. Their online names are so easier. Raccoon. She ends up telling Raccoon that she's going to be going to Aaron, which is a location inside of ALO, which is at the base of the World Tree, which is where she's taking Kirito. So now Raccoon actually knows where she's heading. She's just trying to fill in the gaps so he doesn't keep asking questions. But that was the last scene we were stuck with. Now to the next scene, we actually see I kind of like this scene, but I'm a guy, of course I'd like this scene. Seguya, I pronounced her offline name correctly. Wow, I'm shocked. Anyway, Seguya she's taking her school uniform off. She's back at her house. She's in bra and panties. Again, she's practically naked, and it's kind of interesting. And she was like that before she logged on to ALO, waiting for Kirito, supposedly. Now she logs on after she gets all comfortable in her bed, and she puts her headgear on, and she winds up at a bar, and she's waiting for Kirito, and then Kirito automatically appears right before her and says, "Oh, have you been waiting long?" And she replies, "No, I just got here." And so they're reminiscing, kind of, and she's looking at Kirito's gear, and she's like, "We're gonna have to get you new gear, at least a new sword, something." So we find out the next scene, Kirito's getting a brand new sword. It's bigger, and Lefei is laughing at him in general. And she tells him, well, in order for us to go to the next location, we have to get to a high enough altitude, like one of the high towers, and launch off so we can stay in the air longer. And you see them slowly going to that location, but she has a run-in. Now, it's kind of sad, really, but she's having this run-in with one of her members. His name is Sigard, and Sigard used to be a party member of Lefei's group before Lefei decided she wanted to help Kirito, and he's under the impression she's leaving the party and confronts her saying, well, why are you leaving? It's kind of bad since everyone likes you in the group. It's kind of sad if you leave. It may give us a bad reputation, so he's trying to bring her back forcibly, more or less. I should also point out, right now they're in the Selvin, the Sylph territory, and it is January 21st, 2025. And I thought it was kind of interesting how this guy Sigurd is being introduced. We know nothing about this guy, and he's head of Li Fei's party, but we don't know if they're a guild group, no name really. And he really wants Li Fei to stay, but that's not the case because Li Fei is with Kirito. And she's like, you know what, you said I could go anytime I wanted to from this group, so I'm going. And before she could really say anything else, Kirito jumps in and says, well, you shouldn't treat people like equipment, using them when you feel you need to, like you can. I mean, they're people, they're users, you know? And he wasn't trying to make trouble, but he was standing up for Li Fei's right to play this game. Yeah, Sigurd did not like this. They were ready to pull out his sword, he's ready to attack, but then he's like, you know what, it would look bad if he did that in front of everyone. And he keeps calling Kirito a renegade player. Now, he also calls Li Fei a renegade as well, to an extent, and a renegade in this game is someone that doesn't belong to a territory. So, if Li Fei leaves, she'll be not only leaving the party, but the territory, so she'll be helping Kirito. So that's kind of interesting. But again, I digress. Back to Sigurd versus Kirito. It looks like they're about to fight, and it's kind of a ripoff because they don't. But he ends up telling Kirito, whenever you're alone, I'm going to be there. To an extent, that's what he says. And he tells Li Fei, you better not be around him when that time comes. So there's a big confrontation there. So they part ways, and then Kirito and Li Fei are ready to leave. They're up top, they're ready to, take a flight, put their wings out. And who would appear? Raccoon. That's right. His offline name is Nagata, but his online name is Raccoon. And again, he is very loyal to Li Fei. He says right off the bat, I don't agree with Sigurd. I'm loyal to you, Li Fei. I'll join you, do whatever you want. And then he tells Kirito, just be prepared. She does a lot of crazy things, and that was kind of nice of him. But he ends up saying, well, just for the sake of it, I'm gonna be the mole. I'm gonna stay with Sigurd, and I'll keep up to date on what his activities are. And, I guess he's gonna inform Li Fei if there's anything major that occurs. And then they part ways, and then you actually see Li Fei and Kirito launching off. They got their wings, and they're gone. So they're on to their next location. Now, the next part is what I kind of hate. I'm pointing this out. This next part, I do not like whatsoever. But we see Asuna, and we're at the World Tree, and it's January 21st still, 2025. And you see Asuna and Oberon, and Oberon's telling Asuna about Kirito. Not that he's in the game, he doesn't know anything about that, just that he met him offline, and how he was going to invite them to their wedding. And wow, I really hated this part. I'm sorry, it just totally wrecked it for me. My emotions were like, just want to take Oberon out. This guy is horrible. He's bragging about Kirito's misfortune that he can't see Asuna, so it's kind of sad. But then he ends up telling Asuna, Kirito won't even put his headgear on. He's not going to come to the game, so don't bother keeping your hopes up. Boy, that's going to bite him in the ass, because Kirito is in the game, and he is going to save Asuna. So, it's just funny how he was saying that. And before he goes, we see him typing in the little password into that little digital device that's on that bird cage that Asuna's in. And Asuna's looking in the mirror. She sees the reflection of the password finally, because remember last time she was looking at that digital device and it was all blurred out. I'm guessing that was a safety precaution. Now she can see it. She can see the numbers 8, 11, 3, 2, and 9. So that'll be interesting. Is she going to be able to escape? We don't know. But we are taken to a different location. We're at a neutral area, the ancient forest, and it's still January 21st. So it's still the same day, different location, and we're with Kirito and Li Fei. And Li Fei is, well, they're both killing. They're like in the sky. You have Kirito killing these. They look like dragons, but they're monsters in general. I don't know what they're called, but he's attacking them. And Li Fei is also using her magic to attack those same monsters. So they're having a little, pre-flight battle. Kind of funny. And they're trying to get to a location. In order to get to where Asuna's at, they have to go through some caves, and there's a little village not that far that they're going to probably rest at. But before they can go that far, they have to log off, go to the bathroom, eat, do whatever, because they're going to stay on for a couple hours. So they're going to take turns. One's going to log off while the other one stays in, vice versa. So LeFay is the first one to log out. So that's kind of interesting. And you see, we get to see there's a little shower scene with LeFay when she logs off. She takes a shower. Kind of interesting, actually. She makes, I guess, dinner for her cousin, not her brother. Leaves it downstairs. Tries knocking at the door to wake him up. Yeah, he's not answering because he's playing online. But it kind of gets. You want to say go inside so you can know that you're playing with your cousin. You want to root her on, but she doesn't. She goes back online, and then Kirito logs off. And while Kirito's now logged off and LeFay's logged on, who would appear? Yui, his adopted daughter, and they have a little girl talk one-on-one. And you see LeFay, she's asking Yui, "You're kind of weird for like a navigation pixie. Like, why do you keep calling him Dad or whatever? Like, how do you know Kirito? Why do you keep calling him Dad?" He's like, "Well, he's my father. He saved me." And yet she never says Asuna. We never know anything about Asuna. So you have LeFay knowing nothing about what his true goal is within this game. Not really. Just that, there's that bond between Yui and Kirito. And just before they could go on any further, Kirito logs back right in real quick and mentions, "Yeah, one of my family members made me something to eat." And that's where we kind of end with them, that little girl-on-girl talk. And they're getting ready to go. Because they're all, they're ready to go. They're done resting, and they're ready to head into the caves or to that little town, whichever comes first. And now Kirito, out of nowhere, says, "I feel like we're being watched." It's like you want to hear him say something like, "My spider senses are tingling," And then you see LeFay say, "Well, someone may have put a tracer on you." A tracer is like an animal or an insect, something that can either be really close to you or, depending on how strong the magic user is, it can be really far away, and it can pinpoint wherever you're at. And the only way you can get rid of a tracer is if you find the bug or animal and, kill it. And, now that they know they may or may not be being traced, they start leaving. They leave the scene, they start heading somewhere else. And that's kind of where the episode ends. We see a bat is the tracer, so they are being traced. It's with a bat. Kind of interesting. And this is what had me like a little scratch on the head. You see guys with hoods, they look like PKers, and I believe they are PKers, on the ground. So those were the owners or the guys that used the bat to trace where Kirito and LeFay were at. But we don't know who they are, so no identities there. But that was the end of the episode. So that's kind of interesting. Now for final thoughts, well, first of all, who are these guys in robes? We know they have to be PKers, at least you want to assume they are. Now, are they part of Oberon's? Are they Oberon's henchmen? Probably not, because Oberon doesn't know Kirito's in the game, so that's not them. Is it I almost said his name wrong. Sigurd. Is it Sigurd? There's a strong possibility because he does have it out for Kirito right now. But then again, Rikun probably would have contacted LeFay if that were to happen, so kind of iffy there. Now what they probably are the first PKers that Kirito was introduced to when he started logging into ALO when he saved LeFay. It's probably those guys. That's the best assumption. Now, other final thoughts? Is Asuna gonna escape Oberon since she now has the password? We don't know, but we can pray, right? We can most definitely pray. And I guess one more final thought, is Kirito and LeFay ever gonna find out that they're related online? Is they gonna like drop the ball there? We don't know. But that is it for my final thoughts. As per my rating, truth be told, I want to give this a 3.5 out of 5. But introduced to at least 2 new characters. I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5 just because we saw a little emotion. We definitely saw LeFay offline. We saw her in bra panty. This is my male side, obviously showing, so I do apologize for any female subscribers out there. I just have to point this out. As a male viewer, I'm like, well, let's see. We got to see her practically half naked, then again almost in the shower. So that wins you a couple points there. I mean, usually certain anime series censor out a lot of stuff. It's nice we got to see a little of that. So that kind of gave me the 4 out of 5 final ratings there. But also we were introduced to Sigurd. So another, villain within, supposedly a villain within the series. So I can't wait to see where that's going to go. Now, that ends it for my walkthrough and review of Sword Art Online Episode 18. And again, my final rating was 4 out of 5. Now, I do have 4 more walkthroughs and reviews to do today, so I hope I can finish them all. So definitely stay tuned. But before I go, definitely comment down below, subscribe above, thumbs up and thumbs down, and comment. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Okay? And before I go, I definitely have to say it. Can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.